Good morning, y'all. I'm just going to be talking about some real talk, just some real talk. Sometimes I have always been the most kindest and giving person. And sometimes you just feel unappreciated and taken for granted. And just like sometimes people act like, you know, they're ungrateful. And sometimes, no, I'm not going to say sometimes, all the time with me, your actions need to line up with your attitude. Um, One thing I'm realizing, and well, I have been realized, but I realize interacting with different people that I meet and engage in conversation or relationships or acquaintanceships or friendships with, um, we are our children's biggest examples. I'm raising two boys, so the only prime example, role model that they have is myself. Therefore, if I want my sons to get with respectable women, um, that are classy or that hold themselves to a certain esteem, have morale, um, I have to carry myself as such. I can't be dating all kind of men. I can't be running men in and out of my home. You know, with them seeing different guys and this and that, and expect them to then engage as an adult or at a dating age to find women that are respectable, who are stern, who have strong personalities, who have good heads on their shoulders, who are business minded, who, make things happen. I can't expect them to do any of those things if, in fact, I am showing them a totally different lifestyle. Our children follow the things that we do. So if I'm not going to be right, they're not going to be right. If I'm not following any rules, and my kids aren't going to follow any rules. If they see me going to uh, Walmart and there's a big caution sign in the middle of the floor that says go through the other door, and I read that and I just say I'm going through this door. Well, then anytime they see a caution sign, they're never going to recognize it or acknowledge it because they've seen mom go through. Thank you, Sister Karen. Um, the caution sign, and nothing happened to her, by the grace of God, of course. So when caution signs are around, they're just going to try it anyway because they seen me do it. So they're not going to follow any rules, and that very caution sign could be the sign that takes their life. So if our kids don't see us following rules wherever we are, wherever we go, or wherever we're at, then they're going to feel like you didn't do it. Why should I? You didn't respect what they asked you to do. So why should I? And then we wonder why we have certain outcomes when it's dealing with our children. Um, of course, I have boys, so by no means they are not perfect at all. That little one's mouth can be very smart, and the oldest one, he's 15, so we already know all kind of hormonal changes he go through. That you want to knock him upside his head, but he is very respectable. It's yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. We working on a little one to be all time consistent with that. Um, but overall, they are good kids. They have good heart. They have their mom's spirit. They're giving. They're lovers. They're helpful. Um, so the overall core of them, they're good. They're good souls. They're good spirits. Um, so I remember there was a time that I had to before I moved here. Actually, I had to stay. Well, actually, she had stayed with me for a while. Um, One of my good sisters and friends, and you know, no problem. Her one son stayed with me a few times while she worked. We would keep him and stuff. No problem. And then it was a time that it came for me to need the same favor, in return before I transitioned. And she did that. Um, she let us stay to get everything situated. Um, I can remember just, having to go by what she asked me to do. And some things, I felt like, okay, this is weird. Well, why is this like that? Or why does she feel like that? But I didn't say anything. I just did what the Mohicans do, as they say. You do what they do. Um, and some of the stuff I was like, okay, well, why is this, or why is she doing it like that, or why does she care about certain things? But one thing, and when later on we talked and she showed me some things like her budget and different things like that, and I was like, wow. Because sometimes we look at people, because the way I'm old school, so with a certain way we raised, my grandma always said, you ain't got to look like what you go through, and you ain't got to be looking all homely and like a bag lady because you got a penny in your pocket. You take the rags, as my grandma would call them, you take the rags that you got, you put you some paint on your face, and you go out and do what you need to do. You don't wait for the world to come to you. You go to the world. That's how I was raised. So sometimes, even with her situation, I'm thinking, well, because she's older than me, so she really old school. You would never know what she would go through. So when she was real with me, we sat down and talked. Then I realized, okay, this is why she prepares these certain amount of meals this time, and they cannot eat anything over. In my mind, I'm like, they boys, they hungry. Like, why can they not only eat like this set meal, like at this time, and this is what it has to be? But once she let me in, I realized that. But you know what is real facts and real talk? That was really none of my business, because for whatever she asked me to do that I didn't understand because I was in her home, it didn't matter what I knew or didn't know. And we shouldn't have to know the breakdown of everybody's penny or whatever their struggle is in order for us to respect what somebody asks us in their home. It doesn't matter if you understand it or not. It's no need to get an attitude. It's no need to lose friendship, because that's what happens about stuff. Respect what it is. And if you don't understand, then ask. So I asked her, and she broke some stuff down. She literally showed me some things. And I was like, wow, sis, I would have never. So why didn't you ever ask? And why didn't you ever, but I feel her, because you constantly give to people. But when you're in a place that you need to be reciprocated or respected, those same people either don't act like they believe you in a struggle because you don't look like what you've been through or what you're going through, or they just disrespectful. So toss up, you don't know which one it is. So that's why I ask questions. That's communication. And I'm going to continue to say that communication is hot. It's in, y'all. It's hot, honey. It's been hot, but it's real hot now. Talk. So once I understood, which like I said, I shouldn't have had to understand. I'm in her home. What she asked me to do, as stupid as some of the things I might have thought were. Once I got it, it was like, oh, because if they don't eat this amount of meal for the next part of the month, y'all not going to have nothing. I get it. I get it. But that was none of my business. I shouldn't have had to know all that. Whatever she asked me to do because I'm in her home, I should have just been doing it. Rather you understand, or rather you think you're one of the kids or not. Rather I thought that I was grown or as grown as her or not. Rather whatever it is somebody asks you, you have to, as an adult, we have to follow rules, or our kids are not going to follow no rules. It's period. Whether you think it's the stupidest or the pettiest thing, you don't know why. And so if I'm teaching my kids in my home that they have to follow rules, everybody, and even I do, then why in the world would someone else staying in someone else's home feel like they don't have to follow rules? And my kids see that as well. So if I'm trying to teach my kids structure, which we basically have structure, they got a time to be in the bed. They got a time, that they're supposed to be up. On certain days, I used to let them sleep later, but I can't. And that's okay with me. But we have to learn how to coincide and coexist. And everything you're not going to understand in the way somebody else does something in their home. So we have to follow rules as adults. If we want our children to follow rules, we don't say something in front of kids or do this or do that, um, it doesn't matter. You have to respect what it is. I can't tell my kids to respect something and then I'm totally just disrespecting it. It doesn't make sense. And then you say, well, where did that come from? Let me do some mirror ministry. Monica, didn't you do that? You lead by example. Oh, okay. So I give, and I try to from my heart. I'm tired of my heart being broken. And I ain't talking about just men. People, friends, acquaintances, whoever will hurt your heart. When your intentions are pure, they will have you turn them into something that is not pure. And that's just not who I am. And I'm not going to keep allowing people to bring certain energy to make me feel like I can't be loving. I can't be free to be who I am. I got to walk on eggshells. No, I don't. And I'm not. Nobody should have to. And so, though me and my sister friend, whom I still love with all my heart, we're not the same after some things. Eventually things did go south towards the end of me, leaving. And because my heart was so broken, I'm that type of person. I just can't fully ever trust you again. I still love you. If you need me to the best of my ability, I'm there. But to trust you, to let you back close to me, to like get in my personal, or no, I struggle with that. And I struggle with it for two reasons. One of them is because nobody who has ever truly been broken wants to feel that brokenness again. And the other reason is sometimes you're scared of you. You don't know how, if that person does that again, after you trusted them one more time, how your reaction gonna be. And if you have that reaction, are you gonna be able to come back from that reaction? Or is you just gonna be that person permanently? So I say all that to say we are examples to our children. We are examples to anyone who looks upon us. We cannot not follow rules. Rather, we like them, think they're dumb, or think they're stupid, especially if someone has been kind enough, loving enough, understanding enough to say, hey, I open up myself to you. Maybe I've opened up my car to you. Maybe I've opened up my home to you. Maybe I've opened my ministry. Whatever it is, we have to be mindful, because you don't know what people go through. Everybody don't tell you all the business because it ain't none of your business. But at the end of the day, we have to respect it. We don't gotta like it, but we have to respect it. And if you don't want to respect it, then that just shows your character, that you don't want to follow rules. And it doesn't matter who's giving them. You have an issue with following rules, whether you think they're petty or not. It's about respecting it. And it's amazing how we can go to work every day. We can interact with other cultures every day and respect what they want. But when it comes to one another, we petty. Or, I don't understand that. That's dumb. I'm not this. I'm grown. But it's amazing to me, those people that we work for, are they opening themselves up to you? Or they just using you to get the work done so they can get more money and you can get more money? Or are those people that you respect on your job more than anything else, are they providing you a ride or a home or whatever? Are they? But why do we respect them more? Why do we respect them more? We will do everything they say. When we in prison, we do everything them people say. We don't ask them questions. We don't say it's stupid that we got to get up at 5 a.m. to make sure the block is locked, to go get to breakfast, to go to chow, to go to the yard. You ain't asking them people nothing. So why is it that when we deal with one another as black women, black men, or black people, why do we always got to be that person that's petty? They this, they that. You don't ask them, our Caucasian brothers, nothing. You do exactly what they say when you in that orange. And that orange be looking good on you and you don't even like orange, but you find a way to like that. So why do we not respect one another in the same manner is what I need to understand. All right, y'all. That's just my take on some things. I'm an observer and I'm always conscious. No, I am not perfect and I am not petty, but I am particular. And that's that. And I love to love. I love to help and I love to be respected. So, at the end of the day, this is just some real talk. From my heart to your heart. Remember, boo, I am always praying for you. No doubt. Y'all have a great day. Respectfully, Monty.